and a gracious good morning to all my fall brothers and sisters. A beautiful day it is. Gratitude. It is the antidote to grumpiness or low-level anger and fear and worry and emotional paralysis. Oh, and let me not forget grandiosity. Usually these lead to inner and outer conflict. So if gratitude is the antidote to the eventual conflicted outcome, then what is it that stands in my way of gratitude? Well, Ralph Waldo Emerson, leader of the Transcendentalist movement in the early 1800s, tells us that 5 enemies to peace inhabit us: avarice, ambition, envy, anger, and pride. If those enemies were to be banished, we should infallibly enjoy perpetual peace, close quote. Wouldn't that be nice? Conflict and unhappiness are byproducts of ingratitude. All these factors, avarice, ambition, envy, anger, and pride, block my flow to gratitude. So let's just take a look at Merriam-Webster's definition of some of these factors. Avarice, a strong desire to have or get money. Well, in my 30s, I was definitely driven by avarice. I was fearful of not having enough. And in my older years, I'm happy to say that I don't experience that now. That attitude was embedded because of an unbalanced approach to finances and certainly relationships. I was always the one who had more money than my partner, except a couple of times. And then it seemed acceptable to extract a pound of flesh from those relationships, which of course it was not. My relationship to money changed through continued appreciation for what I had and what I have. I came to realize that money is not the goal. Money is a tool. It's a tool for me to live a life of security and then focus on other things. And the security comes from my belief all is well. I'm in the care of my higher power. I live in abundance. Even in lean times, I have always paid my rent or my mortgage. Ambition. An eager or strong desire to achieve something, such as fame and power. In my earlier years, I was driven by ambition to be recognizable and recognized. And I achieved that almost to the point of ruin. This attitude led to repeated humiliations that brought me to my spiritual knees. Humility had not yet tempered my ambition. Envy, the feeling of wanting to have what someone else has. As I get older, sometimes I see an ex-lover, much older than me, who is enjoying the fruits of her labor, and I wish it was me, or with me. I mean, really, who wouldn't want to spend a few months in Paris every year? And when I'm faced with this envy, I stop and I have to rejig my attitude to one of gratitude. To get my head on straight and to release envy, I invite an open-hearted happiness for the person I envy, and I begin to feel admiration, seeing what I do have rather than what I don't have. And I cherish the beauty in my life today, and that leads me to grateful thoughts and actions. Anger is an emotion characterized by antagonism towards someone or something you feel has deliberately done you wrong. Now, whenever I hear a should or a supposed to in the mental chatter, I'm heading down the anger rabbit hole. Whenever I hear a should or supposed to, I usually am not living my life, but that of someone else's beliefs or paradigms. And shoulds link to expectations. And expectation seems to hinge on my entitlement. I think I should, or you should, fill in the blank. And if the expectation doesn't pan out, then I am set up for victimhood, resentment, and anger. When I entertain the mindset of expectations, it upends my gratitude. So one of the tactics I use is to translate expectations into desires. I trade my entitlement for a direction I might like to follow, something to entertain my imagination. I can think about or contemplate or pray, how could I get there? How do I devise a plan? Is it viable? Is it reasonable? And if so, put necessary actions into effect. So by managing my expectations, I manage my anger. Pride. A high or inordinate opinion of one's own dignity, importance, merit, or superiority, whether as cherished in the mind or as displayed in conduct, etc. Pridefulness, my high or inordinate opinion of myself, is actually camouflage to low self-esteem. I could be prideful with modesty. I could appear humble when really I was just manipulating the situation. The fact that I actually do have talents is beside the gratitude point. I have had ambition and ambitious needs to be distinctive, yet afraid to step into my empowerment. Now that's uncomfortable. That's a self-constructed prison. And gratitude is humbling. So as I attend to my gratefulness, pride seems to disintegrate. Emerson also said, cultivate the habit of being grateful for every good thing that comes to you and give thanks continuously. And because all things have contributed to your advancement, you should include all things in your gratitude. Emphasis is mine. Include all things in your gratitude. That includes conflicts, negative thoughts, feelings, actions, experiences. Why? Because when I honor these things, I respect that everything has brought me to where and who I am today. And as Emerson said, because all things have contributed to your advancement, I throw all my positive and negatives into the hopper of my higher power. Or as spiritual teacher Ram Dass has said, it's all grist for the mill. So I ask you to consider these questions. How do you find gratitude in your life? How are you able to transform negative for positive, grist for the mill? How do you cultivate the habit of being grateful? How do you banish the enemies of peace, avarice, ambition, envy, anger, and pride? So to close my talk today for this month's topic of gratitude, I've written a poem. Gratitude, a Poetic Chronicle. I am so grateful for all that I have, indifferent to the writing on my negative emotional iPad. I'm grateful for a sink full of dishes, for not living in turmoil and constant wishes, for my closet that holds my worn-out shoes, for being able to play the game and lose, for the thread to mend my undersized clothes, every morning grateful for the annoying twisted watering hose, and for the blossoming of my container plants and the industrious marching of the ants. I am so grateful. I am so grateful for all that I have. I'm grateful to be with my 94-year-old mother, embracing with less time, knowing there will never be another, for her care and love, despite our relationship strife, that has subtracted and added to who I am in life. I am grateful for my spouse and my marriage, another way I am transformed in a relationship carriage. I am so grateful. I am so grateful. I'm so grateful for all that I have. I am so grateful that my erroneous perceptions do change, just like when treated the infectious dog with mange. For the freedom to move beyond assumptions, for being willing to meet life at all its junctions, For this life, encompassing all its malfunctions, I'm so grateful for a mind to be mindful, so grateful to let go of being prideful. For deeply appreciating all my precious resources, not to mention body, mind, and soul, the three sources. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful for all that I have. I am so grateful. I'm grateful for my hands and my feet. Grateful for living a life that's replete with issues and situations and challenges, and for outside support and a mind that manages. For my mind's wounds that cause irrational fences, for movement beyond, thanks to the soul's influences. Grateful to jettison beliefs that freeload my thoughts, for abandoning the feelings of nevers and oughts. Every day I get to choose to lose emotional constriction, filled with tests, but with less spiritual friction. I am so grateful. I am so grateful. I'm so grateful for all that I have. Grateful for surviving treatment of cancer. Illness brought me to grasp my divinely inspired answer. Giving myself over and over to the space between the lines, living with uncertainty, unknowing the wheres of the whys. For embracing the mystery of the riddle, for finding the solution of living in the middle. And grateful for when I think my life is blackening, I now know it's the beginning of an awakening. These are the obstacles, these are the hurdles. Grateful for removing my soul's spiritual girdle. Accepting myself and you with all our warts and scars, all the glorious gifts of a life lived with spiritual handlebars. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. I am so grateful for all that I have. So grateful to turn the tap and out comes water, for having a life where I'm not sent to slaughter, or living in a raging, war-torn X-zone, or seeing the explosion of a no longer safe home. For having an imperfect, dysfunctional family, and for having friends who engage happily. Grateful to afford paper, pen, wood, and clay, and for the time I get to scratch, hammer, and play. So grateful for imperfection, for the patina and wisdom of age, the wabi-sabi of seeing and touching the footprints of a sage. So grateful for all that I have. I am so grateful for all that I have. I know the distress of vagueness and deep indecision, of being resplendently bereft of any kind of vision, like a mental IV filled with bedlam and confusion, metaphysically moved to find peace in spite of contusion. I am grateful that my heart softens with each of life's blows, that standing in the midst of surrender, there's a rich and even glow. I am grateful for my legs that carry me to the highest ground. There is nothing better than knowing I'll be found. Maybe lost, maybe shipwrecked, but always grateful for the lessons learned that make me less hateful, for no longer crushed by the primal spiritual fallout of sexual abuse, for no longer feeling my life is strange fruit and a noose. I am so grateful. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful for all that I have. I'm so grateful for all that I have. And when I am calm, cool, collected, in the flow, I'm grateful for all that I know. That there is love in everything and everyone. Even when I think I'm alone or shunned, even when I find my lifelong job is to seek and to find the best and the brightest spiritual minds, to accompany me on the journey, wherever that may be, resting in the comfort that you will steadfastly hold me in all the ups and downs, the disruption and the chaos, the calm and the peace. Thank you for your presence, for your hearts holding a space. I'm grateful for a gentle New Thought fellowship, that offers unsurpassed solace and spiritual kinship. I am so grateful. I'm so grateful. I am so, so grateful for all that I have. I'm so grateful for all that I have. And so it is.